You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You fuck, mate. We're nice now.
I say those names correctly. Hello, friends. You're listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast.
Is that real?
Yeah, this is real. I started. Right. I'm recording now.
Nice.
We are live.
Good. I'm poorly.
How you doing?
Not well. Drank too much.
Frank's not in a good mental state right now.
That's the only reason I'm not doing well. It's the only reason. There are no other reasons why I could be doing badly.
Sorry, I'm super distracted by that green line shit you told me about.
Do you imagine the nation of Wales leaning past their green line towards Gatland? That's what we need to get away from.
Do you want to tell the folks what the green line is? I want to talk about this. Is actually kind of important.
It better be relevant to rugby. So if you have a picture with your girlfriend or your partner and you draw an imaginary green line down your body, if you're leaning towards her and the line is not straight, that means you're not a real man. If your line is is less straight than hers, your line should be straight, so you're a strong, independent man.
I fucking love
It's the green line test. It's the proof of masculinity. Men everywhere are terrified of a green line.
Yeah. I'm the super alpha male.
Yeah.
Here's a green line.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Shit.
Why is it green? Is it happy green?
I don't know. No
Is there
idea.
any kind of significance?
I don't know. Maybe it's the color of alphas. I don't know.
So you're feeling sick.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of rugby.
I watched
weekend.
I watched a lot of rugby. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did we watch together?
I wanted
again?
to watch the Wales game together with you.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you missed our actual club's banquet. That's why we didn't watch it.
Yeah, because I forgot.
Right.
And then I was just too. I made a stew.
You missed our end of year club banquet.
I made a really good stew.
Yeah.
It was good, and I don't know.
What did we watch together? We watched the game together, didn't we?
We watched.
Oh, England, South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
feel about
Sunday
that
you were too hungover.
Yeah. But I didn't get out of bed till 11. Should probably go back to bed pretty soon here. I haven't got a lot to talk about today, really. But do you want to start with Ireland, Argentina?
Yeah, I want to talk about. Do you want to talk about anything about the local rugby scene, the awards, or anything? Are you happy?
I think I'm happy. I think people are starting to talk about like, oh, numbers are dying. I don't think they're dying. I think COVID kind of killed the game a bit, and I am positive that people are starting to come back to rugby now. I think people are like over the stay inside COVID things, and there's green shoots in terms of people playing contact sports.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I think I agree with you. Because like COVID, like rugby numbers in Canada. I think, but before COVID, I thought we were getting to we were getting to a good place.
They were healthy at amateur level, weren't they?
Yeah, and then COVID hit, and it kind of just destroyed. I
Everybody,
think like 10 years of build up.
It did. It totally did.
So a lot of clubs here, especially since it's like 'cause people understand, like people like overseas are listening to this podcast.
Yeah,
they understand the situation. Like people don't naturally gravitate towards rugby at all because it's not on anyone's radar.
No, it's not. Do you know what surprises me as well? It's like when you're in school and you have like the goth kids, like there'll be like the gang of alternative kids, and they'll out of a class of like 60, there'll be like 5 of them. That's rugby here. It's the alternative sport. Yeah. It's like the hipster sport here. So when I got here, and even the people are like kind of alternative who play rugby, aren't they? They're the kind of like socially, on the edges of the social kind of world a bit more here.
Maybe our team.
Our team's full of weirdos. Yeah, well, we're on it. Yeah, but it is a niche sport here, isn't it?
If you like, because Canada played Romania.
Yeah.
On the weekend.
Yeah.
If we went to the mall or somewhere where there's lots of people.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, we can ask. I bet you anything we can ask all night, and there's a good chance no one would know that game was happening.
Totally agree.
And then a lot of people would even know that there was a national rugby team.
No.
I would be very confident putting money that there would be we wouldn't find a single person that knew that game was on.
Yeah.
The worst part is is if you ask the rugby community, it would take I bet you 1 out of 10 people would have known that game was on this weekend.
Yeah. I bet most of the people at our club did not know Canada were playing it that day. And that's not unique to us.
It's actually kind of surprising about how, like, even in the rugby clubs, the amount, how many people follow rugby at all outside of what happens in the summer.
It's more just a hobby it's a sport, and that's it for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like for us, it's a lifestyle, isn't it?
Like no one knows. Like they won't be able to name any names of players. They'll maybe know like a Dan Carter. They'll mention a Dan Carter probably.
If that.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So it's a surprising. Surprising thing you brought up there.
I remember we were watching a Six Nations game. It was my first year in Canada, and there was like some tradey guy, I think he was like a bricklayer or something, and he just wanted to like hang out and drink with us in the morning. And I was like, he seems like a cool guy. And he said he'd played rugby in high school for a bit, and I was like, cool. And he kept calling it rugger. Like, and I thought he was joking, and then he just kept saying, back in my day when I played rugger, and I'm like, is he fucking serious? Like, and it was like, that was a moment for me. It's like, people don't know what the fuck this is, do they? Even the ones who played it a bit in high school. It's like I might have played fucking a bit of tennis and I know nothing about it other than I played 3 games. You know what I mean? That was his experience.
Kind of makes you invincible in comment sections.
Yeah, it does.
Because if they try to come at you, Canada's, I'm like, doesn't even faze me.
That's whenever you're taking the piss at me and I'm trying to like, well, fucking look at Canada. I even do that in the group chat. Someone will lose. So when Wales lose, everyone will be like, ha ha, Wales. And I'll be like, I would mention Canada and how shit they are, but none of you are aware they played this weekend, so it's not going to hurt you.
You don't even know they had a team.
No, exactly. Yeah,
you're invincible. Yeah. You're invincible to the international banter.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're just so fucking irrelevant. Like
you might as well have named a box of cereal.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Seriously.
All right, let's get into the international rugby that happened this weekend.
Yeah.
Ireland, the motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They did a job.
Sweaty
game. Sweaty job
game
on Argentina.
Yeah. First thing I want to say about that, nobody underestimates Argentina anymore. And I'm glad to see Ireland didn't. Like, it was a bit of a shit game, but it was ferocious, though. It was physical as fuck, It was a bit sloppy, but I'm glad to see people take Argentina. Everyone takes Argentina seriously now. They're now officially one of the best teams in the world, aren't they? Has to be.
Yeah. I think they always have, but they've like, how many teams have come third in a Rugby World Cup?
Yeah, not many. Yeah.
Has Wales done it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? They won a third?
Yeah.
Scotland?
No.
Italy? No.
That was silly. Yeah. And we have pretty good prestige in the World Cup, but Argentina were like the upset kings, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were more than being consistent. They would just upset a team out of nowhere because they just had that kind of Latino passion on the field,
I would, if I was an Argentinian, I would be pretty upset by this game. I thought this game was theirs for the taking.
Yeah, it was.
And it was almost at one point where both teams, I was watching this game, I was at work, and I was watching this game, and I'm just glancing out, and it felt like there's 2 teams that wanted to lose this game at some points in this game.
Except Argentina in the last minute of the game. They were like, we're going to play our fucking socks off, And it's like...
Yeah, but they took a shitty... I think they even got a card right at the end, didn't they?
I got a knock-on. Oh, was something called right at the end? They might be right.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 74 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gomez Cadella.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a fucking yellow card.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there, I was like, this is the most Argentinian thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can always count on them to, like, fuck themselves.
But not in the Rugby Championship, though. They were consistent and good. And I still think they are. But obviously, it's like when people would say which French team is going to turn up. And those days are over. Right, you always get a reasonably good French team now. Argentina are just getting out of their which Argentina will show up days,
Yeah, this is a team, like, you can't get let off the gas pedal with this team now.
No, you can't. And what I liked about Ireland is, I think historically, Scotland and Ireland are a really good comparison because Scotland will play as good as their opponent. Mm-hmm. So they'll play as good as Italy or as good as New Zealand where they're playing them, right? So it's entertaining, but they just never get over the line. But what Ireland do now is when they're playing a team they know they're better than, maybe it is, and it is Argentina, they are still better than them, right? They have learned now that you are merciless every fucking second of every game. You take every chance you get, you're clinical, you're ruthless. If it wasn't for their mistakes, they'd have had not a convincing win, but they'd have won a bit more comfortably,
The Irish media is in dire straits about this game.
They're losing. That was another thing that surprised me. Everyone who wasn't an Ireland fan was angry about something. Everyone who is an Ireland fan was like, that's the worst we've ever fucking played. Like, relax.
I think they've gotten so spoiled with looking invincible for a long time.
Maybe that's it.
And
it's good to have high standards.
They're used to, for the last 5 years, Ireland have been just on top of the world.
And actually, and they're like New Zealand now. They want to have high standards, right? Mm-hmm. And that's good. But it makes them sound like lunatics.
So even now they looked a little bit. They've in the last 2 games they've looked. They don't look like the Ireland from last year.
They don't, do they?
No, they don't. There's a few. I kind of been saying for a while that there's just a lot of miles on a lot of these guys.
They're tired and old. They might be one of the oldest squads in Tier 1 now.
I think someone actually said that somewhere.
I won't be surprised.
They're on average like they're one of the older teams.
Well, it makes sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So.
And they're starting to get to the point where they are a bit over reliant on certain players. They're very reliant on Porter,
they are really super reliant
to do things in games which change the momentum.
Because Cian Healy is what 37 years old.
Yeah,
like he can only come on like so much. Like, if this is his last year.
Yeah.
They did bring someone on for Finlay Beelum though.
Yeah, it was an unknown Munster maverick.
Thomas Clarkson.
Yeah.
And I thought he did pretty well. I thought he did a very decent job.
Yeah. And Argentina don't have a weak scrum, so
no, they don't.
Good for him.
And then Sam Prendergast finally got his go.
Yeah.
And he looked good.
He did.
He looked comfortable. He looked in control. He was out there. You could see him yelling at the guys, getting them into the shapes that he wants.
Yeah.
I could see him now. Like I think that was a big statement.
There was a moment a couple of months ago where I think Jack Crowley needed to have one bad game for someone like Kieran Frawley to kind of go, that's mine. Jack Crowley actually played. People said he played well. He did play well. He did a good game, but he was kind of inconsistent. And the week before, he didn't have a good game. And I think he's very close now to losing that, because wouldn't they love to put a Leinster guy in that 10 jersey, right? Wouldn't they love that? Do you know what I mean?
Such a conspiracy.
So Crowley is like, he has to be very fucking good all the time.
I doubt Farrell thinks about Leinster or Munster or Connacht.
It's not Farrell I'm worried about. It's the South Africans with the puppet strings. It's Nina Bar behind him going, yeah, we're going to get him.
He has infiltrated the system.
Yeah.
I could see this. I could call this. I think Sam Prendergast starts against Fiji next week.
That would be smart. To give him that experience.
I 100% think that I think he actually might go Prendergast, and then he might have Frawley.
Frawley is the 15 and 10
and
cover.
I think he might rest Crowley.
It's not a bad idea. That was the time to do it.
I think this is the time. Fiji's a good team.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like at the level to beat Ireland.
No.
They could.
Could be.
Yeah,
but
I think this is a good spot for him to.
This is a game Ireland can afford to lose, despite their media and fans. They can afford to lose this game. Not that they will.
The thing I like about Sam too is that he's willing to try some crazy shit.
It's Sam now, is it?
Yeah.
Are you friends with him?
Old Sammy, old fucking Sammy there. He kind of has a little bit of a Marcus Smith.
Yeah, he's more
Finn
exciting than
Russell-ish.
Crowley, isn't he?
Yeah.
And do you know what's weird? He's bigger than him as well. Like, he's actually more physical than Crowley. But he's also... So if he can do the Marcus Smith exciting rugby shenanigans, and he's more physical, he'd suit a game against Fiji, wouldn't he? Because he is a bit more of a full package in development.
I say for this game, I would throw all the young guns in this game.
Like, he may as well, right?
If I was Farrell, that's exactly what I'd do. I don't think there's anything to gain from this game. If they beat Fiji, whatever, they lose to Fiji, whatever. I think it's a good chance for him to blood some guys.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like, regardless of what the media say, you can lose this game. It's not the end of the world.
Another thing too is Jamie Osborne. He is lightning.
He's good, eh? Yeah.
He's just breaking the line. He's breaking the line. He just does things. He creates things. He makes things happen. Like, he is just like, the future looks bright. Like, every time they bring on a new guy, it's just, it works.
Yeah.
I know you're really onto like Farrell not blooding guys, not testing his lineup enough because you're just jealous because he has options. But I think he has a really good. Farrell's really good at bringing in guys at the right time. Because like when Prendergast came on, he's been in the squad. He's been on the fringes of the squad for a while. He brought him on in that game, and it was like almost like the perfect timing. It was just like he was ready for this. It was like, this is the time.
Yeah,
here you go. And it was almost like it was just perfectly laid out.
Yeah. And I think you play for Leinster, you're basically playing like international standard, and you're pretty
playing
often.
And he's also he's playing with the majority of the team.
That's right.
So it's not like he's coming into a team where he doesn't know the majority of the guys.
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty used to and comfortable.
Yeah.
ordering these guys around.
Exactly knows him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice situation to be in. But that's why I'd be scared if I was Crowley, because like wouldn't it make a lot more sense to have a very good Prendergast over Crowley, because he's literally playing with these guys week in, week out.
Yeah, if I was Crowley, You'd be
sweating.
Yeah,
I mean, he's good as well.
bullets.
Like he's done nothing to lose his spot.
He's got a lot of things. I don't know. He's got a lot of experience now too.
Yeah.
So his experience, he's not a bad player at all. Rarely has a bad game. He's made some offensively bad decisions recently.
It's 2 weeks ago, but that's the worst I've seen him play.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be too sweaty about him. But yeah, that's my feelings about the Ireland game. You got anything else to add?
I thought you were gonna be more critical. You're quite positive then, because like everyone's losing their fucking minds.
I kind of know where Ireland's at. I can see the writing on the wall.
Yeah,
like this dream team that they have. Like it's. We're going into a few years, like Ireland's going into a few years where it's going to be these best players aren't in their prime. They're going to have to find those new guys. So there's going to be I think there's going to be a few losses, a few bad games here and there. I'm kind of prepared for that.
They look like South Africa in their, not the last cycle, the cycle before, where they could afford to take losses in the interim so that they could peak at the right time.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're doing that.
And the last World Cup, I thought they peaked at the right time.
Yeah.
For 2023. They were the best they could be.
It was, I think people want to find criticism with any team when they don't perform. But they beat South Africa in the pool stages. It was a hell of a game. They didn't take a foot wrong, except for a really close game against. Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong, did they? They didn't do anything wrong.
They could have won that game against New Zealand.
Yeah, it was close.
They could have won that game. That game was a super tight game, right? But again, it's New Zealand.
Yeah,
they're always coming with their A game. They're always coming with their. All right, we're back here after a dog incident.
Yeah,
but I think we covered what we want to say about Ireland.
Yeah,
you don't have anything else. Or anything about Argentina?
I think I said it at the start. They were good.
All right, let's get to the next game here. And it is... What was the next game here?
Well, technically, we're talking high stakes. It was Japan and Uruguay. We're trying to welcome Uruguay to the table. I say we've got Wales have got no right to be welcoming anyone anywhere.
That's true.
I know. I don't know what to say about that. I didn't watch it. Good for Japan.
Canada lost to Romania.
Canada lost to Romania. Was anyone surprised?
No.
I didn't realize they had a national team. Could we have Kingsley Jones back?
Oh my gosh.
We could use him as like a ball boy for one of the regions.
England, South Africa.
We watched this game.
Your boys.
We watched this game. What'd you think?
It's the same shit. It was the same shit as last game.
England are the bridesmaids of international rugby now, aren't they?
It's like they don't have 80 minutes left. They don't have 80 minutes in them.
No. That was a difference between Ireland and England for me. Is like Ireland are learning that clinical, play the whole game. England have got a very talented side, right?
I think it's okay to be harsher on England because of
their vast resources.
Their player pool.
10 professional team league. Yeah.
Like you could be a lot more harsh on them.
Yeah, I mean, I am harsh on them a lot because it's funny, so I'm trying to be objective a bit. Yeah, for me, it's Borthwick, his selection. Like, why do you keep taking Marcus Smith off? Do you know that game miss? And, like, figure out your fullback and wingers. Like, just give, I didn't think Freddie Stewart, when he got stepped by, I think it was Colby, wasn't it? But it was just like, what the, He had plenty of time. There was another one where Colby caught a high ball, a crossfield kick. Mm-hmm. Freddie Stewart had about 4 to 5 seconds to line him up. He was running onto him, and he just steps inside him, and he scored. And, like, I think Freddie Stewart would make a good centre. But why?
He's not a fullback.
I don't think he's a fullback. No. And he's not the only problem. Like, there was a bunch of...
Some people were saying that he was playing good. He's like, he had a great game.
He did, but he carries well. Like...
He's a defensive liability. Yeah, that incident that happened with Colby.
Yeah,
right there. I was like, did he want that tackle?
He had so much time to line him up.
Yeah,
he's like, you can see the ball coming down. You can see Colby waiting for it. All Colby does, casual as anything, just steps in when he gets there. And it's like, you're about 3 times bigger than that man.
Where's Mike Brown?
Honestly, bring back Mike Brown.
Mike Brown would have made that tackle.
I don't think he's ever missed a tackle. No, seriously.
I would agree with you too. This is a coaching issue.
It's definitely a coaching issue.
Like their defense, like England's defense, has been really like in the talking point.
Yeah,
and they have that new defensive coach,
Joe El Abd.
So they're doing something. There's some kind of disconnect there. I bet you he's like this some old guy, and they're like, yeah, we're doing this rush defense. And you kind of spit on the grass like,
yeah,
rush defense. I'll fix this.
This
is a mess. That Felix Jones guy had no idea what he was doing. I'll get this better. No, we're gonna rush, but we're gonna kind of rush, and some people are gonna kind of rush, but we're all gonna rush. We can't just all rush. Like he's probably just fucking it right up.
You know, when you take your car to a mechanic and they're like, who did the last job on your car?
Yeah.
Oh, just this. Oh, all right, it's fine. We'll deal with it. It's like,
yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to be unprofessional, but fucking, this is a mess. This is a mess. It's going to take a long time.
Oh, boy.
This is going to cost you. This is going to cost you.
Yeah, this is going to cost you big time. That's exactly
Joe
the guy
comes
that
in.
Borthwick hired.
Yeah.
Because he's probably looking at the defense. He's like, this is no good, Borthwick.
No, this isn't how we used to do it in my day, and we're not doing it right now.
This other guy, no idea what he's doing.
Yeah. What did he say? He was Irish? Yeah, of course he is.
Yeah, that's exactly what the fuck happened. Because it's just super disjointed. The guys are everywhere.
Yeah.
Some guys are shooting up. Some guys aren't.
Yeah.
And I think it's deliberate.
It's not terrible.
I think it's kind of deliberate.
I think it's put pressure on the first receiver, and everyone else kind of herds to the touchline. A lot of other teams do it. England just haven't figured it out, right? Do you know what's funny is about the blitz defense? It's like every time someone starts doing it, everyone acts like they found a Charizard shiny Pokemon card. Like, they're doing the blitz defense now. How did they find out about that? It's like, you can do it if you want any fucking time, right? You just all go up at the same time quickly. It's not rocket science. Everyone loses their fucking mind when people start doing it because it is effective. But there's flaws to it. So England are obviously like, the Boks know we're going to do this.
But they've been playing this defense for a while.
They have.
Right?
Yeah.
Felix Jones leaves.
Yeah.
And the whole thing falls apart.
That's the thing, though. I wouldn't say it fell apart.
I feel like he's this new guy. What's it? Albed?
Yeah.
He's fucking with it. He's tinkering it with the way and probably confusing the shit out of everyone.
Yeah.
It's completely like we have no resources to confirm that. That's just what I'm feeling is happening. This guy, he's that mechanic. He's I gotta fix this.
Yeah. I mean, it is fun to blame him, but I get the sense more generally in England, it's like, fuck's sake, like we know we tried our best there. Can we just select the most on-form players for the game? I do think the players are starting to lose interest in whatever Borthwick's up to.
And
that's
you can
my
blame,
sense.
like, if Borthwick was any other coach, maybe you can put it on the players. And I know people have been directing it at the players. Yeah. But the fact that Borthwick is a very systematic coach, and he likes systems, he likes to, for the players to play a certain way in certain situations on the field. Like he's just very
detail-oriented, maybe.
And systematic. You have to start pointing the fingers at him. Yeah, because damn well he's drilling into those players to play a certain play a certain way, be in a certain position at a certain time. Yeah, he wants his system to work, and he believes in his system. Yeah, but
it's tried and tested now, isn't it? Like they lost to the All Blacks 3 times in the last 6 months.
I think they've only won in 2024. I think they've only won like 4 games.
Yeah, it's not good enough for England, is it?
Who did they beat? Ireland in the Six Nations.
Beat Japan.
They beat Japan. They're going to beat Japan again.
Yeah.
There's 3 wins. Who's their other win?
Can't remember.
Who did they play? Who did they play in the Six Nations? Who did they beat in the Six Nations? They beat Ireland.
Wales.
And Wales.
Yeah.
They beat Ireland, Wales, and Japan twice. It's going to be twice.
Well, they beat Italy as well.
Did they? Or I thought Italy beat them.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so they got... Yeah, so they got like...
I'm not counting the Six Nations.
So right now they have 4 wins. They're going to have 5.
Yeah.
But that's who they beat. So I guess the Ireland one's a pretty big one.
Point is, though, they haven't beat quality opposition except for Ireland in the last 12. And you expect them to beat quality opposition, don't you? They had 3 very good chances to beat New Zealand, and they couldn't manage it. And that's the disappointing thing about this.
Yeah,
I
the
think.
Closeout. It's kind of weird to see England just not being able to close out a game.
And the crazy thing is
even
they start incredibly well. Yeah, they do. Yeah,
the World Cup, the same thing happened to them.
That was honestly a very similar game to that one against. It's closer actually against this weekend. But
they spent the time just like they were like, because I was at that game at the World Cup and they were just bullying the Springboks.
Yeah, they're at their best when they're physically dominating you.
And the Springbok fans around me thought it was over with. Yeah, thought the game was done. Yeah, right. They were completely destroyed by halftime.
I remember watching the game. You felt that England had won that. I felt that was a comfortable, like, even if the score had been 1 or 2 points, I'd have been like, England deserved that, And
I definitely think there is a coaching issue. Yeah. Also a selection issue.
It's the selection issue that's
they missed Faye Waboso bad.
They did. They missed him, and I think he's been nominated for one of the World Player of the Year guys as well. So
yeah, it's him,
or breakthrough
Jamie
player or something.
Osborne, Satiti from the All Blacks.
These are the breakthroughs you're talking about.
These are
right?
the breakthrough players.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Fuck, it just passed me again. Fuck, I can forget who it is. Mngomezulu.
Oh, Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu.
Yeah.
Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu.
Mngomezulu.
I love that guy. I do love that guy.
I think he should win.
But yeah, like based on the 2 performances where he was a fucking rock star, yeah, give it to him. Fuck it.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Faye Boso probably is going to win this.
I don't think he should be on any list of good players. But
Hey,
just
he's the
salty little
pride
bitch.
of England there.
I know.
Yeah, they were missing him hard on this game.
Yeah.
And I was kind of who was on the wings for this England game here?
As it
We had Freeman and the
Slight home?
Yeah, Slight home guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More like no home, am I right?
Yeah, no home for you.
Yeah, I was not impressed with the back three. They just didn't look like they were in the positions they should be playing in, you know? I don't know. I feel bad. No, I don't feel bad for England. I feel let down by them because like they've got the players. And why Borthwick changes people out when he does. Because they start, like the last 3 games they've played, they come out the blocks. Like they come out firing. They play so well for about 20 minutes.
Well, Marcus Smith played this whole game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Right? So there's no excuses there.
Yeah. I thought Harry Randall had a good go at it as well. Harry Randall was in for the majority of that game as well.
I kind of feel bad for Marcus Smith because he's such a dynamic player. And I feel like he doesn't have like the other players to work off of that. There's no one he can feed to from. There's no like, I guess Faye Bosa would be one of them, but I feel like there's the other backs. They're just not in a line with his dynamicness. They're just like not ready. They're just like.
And England have had a centre problem for probably 15 years. They just can't figure out a good centre combination, can they?
Yeah,
like,
and I think Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not amazing, but it's still really good. A lot of people would probably want those two.
Yeah, they do.
As their center pairing.
But when you've got 10 professional teams, like they shouldn't just be good, should they? They should be the 2 best fucking centres in England, you know? And they are at times, but don't look like it when they play for England.
I guess that is a good point. When you have 10 professional teams, you can't get.
Yeah.
Like every player should be like just scratching at best.
They should. And like France, as much as they can be erratic, they play bravely. They play exciting, attacking rugby non-stop because the guys in those positions are fucking rock stars for their club week in, week out. And you can't say the same for England because even though there are like rock stars in certain positions, thinking of someone like Zach Mercer, I know I go on about him, but he's fucking dynamic, right? And he hasn't even been close to the England team, right? Let alone like on the bench. Like, pick the fucking exciting players that everyone wants to see. Like, and like, I know you don't like Domber. I don't mind him, but like, he's not a guy to come off the bench against South Africa, is he?
No,
like,
just, when he comes off, you're just like, well, that was a kind of a fucking, that was a kind of a waste.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
He's not going to fucking do shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what Borthwick sees in him. I don't know.
I like him. I just don't think he's quite good enough for international, Anyway. What English, so fucking cares. South Africa are good.
Yeah, but
their backs are electric. Conversely, I can start to see what they're trying to do now. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to develop our attack. And I was like, oh, there it is. There it is. Fucking hell, that looks scary. Like, Colby was on fire.
The Springboks' biggest problem is their, like, I guess their biggest problem position-wise, it's their 10.
Yeah. I said this to you, right? It's like, every kick he misses, he'll get you 5 points.
Yeah, because Razzie, he wants the kicking of Pollard.
Yeah.
But he wants the dynamic play of LeBlanc.
Yeah. And you've got Willemse sometimes in the mix as well, and I like him. It's sad that Feinberg Mngomezulu isn't around because this would have been his time to shine.
Because he's got a bad injury.
Yeah.
And I really wish this would have been perfect for him because I guarantee if he was healthy, he probably would have started all these games.
Yeah, he would have.
Because he is kind of the perfect mixture between he can kick and he can play ball.
Yeah, and he can do it in pressure games, and you just have Pollard backing him up. If you like talk about a guy you bring on for the last 10 minutes to calm the game down and kick some points, that's Handré Pollard in a nutshell.
When you have all 3 healthy, and let's say Mngomezulu's his like form keeps up, he's as good as we think he is, and he keeps that up.
Yeah.
How do you order those 3?
I think just like we just said, you have Sacha Feinberg Mngomezulu starting, and you have Pollard waiting, and you have Manny Lebok as injury cover. Because Manny Lebok is probably, he's in the top 3 attacking 10s in the world.
In my eyes, he is.
Just can't
probably
kick.
when it comes to playing the ball. In my eyes, he's the better of the 3.
Yeah, at least he's more tested than Feinberg Mngomezulu. Can we call him FM or something?
Feinberg. Well,
I don't want to be disrespectful to his name.
No,
it just
because
takes
you
a
know
while
what? I've worked
to say.
really hard.
You're doing better.
I worked really hard to pronounce his last name. We're using it.
Fair enough.
It's Mngomezulu.
Fair enough. But you don't say Feinberg Mngomezulu. That's not his last name. His name is Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu.
Yeah, Feinberg is his middle name.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
you're going to cop some flack off our listener.
I hope so. Someone correct me because I know it's true.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
All right.
But
Fair enough.
yeah, because that's what back to the 10 thing. Yeah, I agree with you though. I think Lebach is going to be the man on the outside.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
He's had his chance though,
Because you don't want to start him.
No.
Because if he leaves points out, right? You want those points.
Yeah.
With Mngomezulu.
Yeah. He can do both. So it's an easy choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an easy choice. And that's what I said to you. It's like, Lebach will get you 5 points, right? But he'll lose you 3. And I think that's what happened in this game. There were a couple of tries that came from him. And he missed 2 kind of important kicks when it was close.
They're all important.
They're all important. They're all important. And one of them was actually not that difficult. Like, one of them was from a touchline, so fair enough. But yeah, like, it's if you have Feinberg Mngomezulu waiting, it's an easy choice because he can kick, you know?
You want to know another interesting? You know, this is the first time that Etzebeth and Snyman have started together.
I did read that somewhere.
I couldn't believe when I read that.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. It's a bit much, isn't it? It's a bit fucking much.
But they just have like so much, like, they have even like, what happened to Lou Dieger? Do you remember him?
Oh, he's badly injured.
I swear to God, he's been injured for like 9 years.
Yeah, it was a bad one. I think it was a bad injury.
Like, what happened to him?
Don't remember. It's bad though. Just don't look. It was bad. I don't
It has to be.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a mangled mess in a hospital bed.
That's a good point, actually. I don't remember who their lock cover was.
In the game?
Yeah, I don't remember who their lock cover was.
Well, maybe if you had your laptop out there.
I'm vibing today. Freewheeling.
Yeah.
Couldn't find my charger.
It was Quagga Smith, anyways.
I thought it was. Isn't that guy?
No, it's Alain Lowe.
He is the South African Justin Tipperick. You put him anywhere, he's going to do it well, you know?
He could play any position.
Yeah, and he looks a bit weird. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to want about this game here?
I don't think we were nice enough about South Africa because it's easy to take the piss out of England, but they were really fucking good, South Africa were. Like, I would love to see... It's kind of silly to say, I would love to see them play New Zealand again because, like, I just want to see where New Zealand are at and South Africa.
They kind of feel like right now that New Zealand is at the height of its power.
That's right. Now. This is the game I want. This is the rugby championship final I wanted right now.
Like in the rugby championship, like they weren't gunning 100%, and it feels like he what's his American Psycho looking motherfuckers? What's his name?
Scott Robertson.
He's he's really got that team firing on all cylinders.
He finally, because honestly, people have such short memories. Like the punditry I listened to. They were disgracing him, calling him shit, and then a week later, he's the next Jesus Christ, just like they wanted, right? And he is, he's putting things together, and he has unearthed some talent, which is good. But all he's done is he's played talented players in the positions they should play him. Like, fuck, it's not rocket science, is it? Like,
sure.
It's not fucking rockets. I still haven't seen New Zealand do what New Zealand used to do, like fucking annihilate a team, just like from loose play, score 7 tries, you know. They've lost that, and I want to see that before I'm like, they're back. Scott Robertson has just blooded some good youngsters.
All right. France, New Zealand, game of the weekend.
Are you ignoring that comment because you don't want to get people fired up?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a game. Speaking of New Zealand, this was a fuck of a game, wasn't it?
30-29.
Yeah. I thought France, of all the games, which maybe were hard to predict, this is the one I thought that would go France's way, you know? This one I predicted well, I think.
This really showed who's the king of the crop in the Northern Hemisphere right now.
Yeah.
France, the form France showed in this game, they looked incredible.
They did, didn't they? They looked fucking scary.
And they had disjointed because they lost their prop like 9 minutes in.
Yeah, but if France lose a prop, they bring on a human mountain to replace him.
They brought in that Colombe guy.
Where do they find these guys?
Man, at the end of the game, he was tired
of course he was.
Shit.
Yeah.
And that... Because what's his name that went off? I'm going to get his name wrong probably anyways.
He had to go straight to his night shift as a human boulder on the side of a mountain later that night. Of course he was fucking tired.
Tavita Tatafu.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, like, when he went off 9 minutes, he goes off 9 minutes. They're bringing this Colombe guy on. Yeah. And, like, in the second half, he looked fucking bagged.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, this game's over. You lose your fucking... your tight head,
like
9 minutes into the game,
that's
not good. Against New Zealand, I legit thought the game was over with at 9 minutes. It was almost like they got a red card.
Yeah.
I was like, how is this guy supposed to play?
Yeah.
And he should have got mad at the match because he played his fucking heart out.
He was unreal, wasn't he? Yeah. It's hard to find a weakness. Okay, so this is what happened post World Cup, right? France and Ireland, basically they were flawless. And it was sad that they both exited because they both lost in close games, right? Mm-hmm. But I thought like they didn't do anything wrong. It was hard to find criticism, right? And then when the Six Nations rolled around, France just fell off a fucking cliff. And it was like, what happened to the good France? And I think because of the system they've got where these guys get absolutely tanned in their pro league and then they come into international camp and they're knackered, whereas Ireland have a much better system for managing their internationals. You play for Leinster. Like, they just manage that interim better. So France almost needed like a fucking coffee break to come back and be the France we know they can be again.
Also, another thing was historically with France is their fitness was always shit.
Yes. Yeah.
So you'd have these really talented players, but you had like 20 minutes in them because they're too busy smoking on the side.
They've got rid of the pan au chocolats and the cigarettes.
Yeah, so the fucking fitness was unreal.
Yeah. And that's another thing France know how to do that England don't. Stay in the game, right? They stay in the fucking game. They don't go away.
And this was still a game where I thought either side could have won.
Yeah, like it's close, right?
The best thing you got to do with this game is you have to go to Rugby Pass.
Yeah.
And you got to look at the player ratings for this game.
Was everyone a 10?
So you go to the France player ratings and everyone's like an 8, 8.5.
Oh,
and then you go to the New Zealand one and the guy's like 4, 5.5.
I wonder who wrote this.
Yeah. I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I wonder. Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, who wrote this? I was like, what the fuck? Like,
some Sky News New Zealand journalist who's never played a game in his life.
It was either like someone from the Northern Hemisphere that was really biased, or it was a Kiwi themselves.
It's definitely a Kiwi.
Yeah,
I'd put money on it being a Kiwi.
Wrote that. He's like, yeah, these guys all fuck, we're trash.
It's not good enough brew.
France are just so much better. They're better looking. Their dicks are bigger. Blah blah blah. Like, you know.
Yeah, like the guys that if we'd have played better, we'd have beat you.
Yeah, because I was looking at the player rating. I was like, oh, I click on France. And I'm looking at these. I was like, holy fuck.
At no point did I think
8,
any
8.5.
player wasn't given 100% on both teams. That was a fucking hell of a game. Like, it was physical, it was passionate. Like, yeah, there's always mistakes and penalties, but like they were just kicking the shit out of each other, weren't they? It was electric. Yeah, game of the weekend. I
also felt like France always had the game.
Yeah. I think physically they outmatched them a little bit, didn't they?
I don't know if I wouldn't say I felt that like they had a physical advantage the whole time.
Yeah,
there was definitely some big bone crunching hits, but there was hits coming from both sides.
Yeah,
like they were trying to hurt each other.
Yeah,
I just kind of felt like just the way France were playing, they kind of like just put this comfort blanket over me.
Do you know what that is? It's Sean Edwards. When he was in Wales, even when we lost, I never felt like we were going to lose games because the defensive system smothers the shit out of everybody, and you never feel like another team can get two phases together, right? It's that aggressive, and the communication is that good, the passion is so good, like, and they just don't miss tackles and they smother people, right? And that's what it felt like. I know what you mean, like they felt safe. I never thought there was going to be some mental 3 tries from New Zealand in the space of 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
And the great thing too about this game was when Gregory Aldred, he got pulled.
Yeah.
He looked fucking devastated.
He did.
He was fucking pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. Yeah. He did not want to get off.
Isn't that how
field.
You should be?
Yeah.
You know? That's how you want your players to be pissed off when they get subbed. You know? And he probably knew as well.
Hungry.
Yeah.
But what do we say about New Zealand?
Like I said, I think they're fine. I think they're still, on any given day, the first, second, or third best team in the world. And that should be good. But for New Zealanders, it's not good enough. And I respect that. You should have high as fuck standards considering your history. But they haven't demolished a team in the old-fashioned, we'll score a bunch of loose play tries. Like, I think they've lost a bit of their flair. Or you might say everyone else got better. Everyone else figured it out. And that might be true, actually, you know. Because France and Ireland have figured them out. Whether they win or lose, they know how to beat them.
I think what they're missing is like they're getting a lot of play. They're expecting a lot of play out of certain players, and they're expecting less out of their especially their back three. Like their wingers just have it too easy in their system.
Did you read that thing that Jalibert said he didn't want to play if he wasn't starting? Like he was refused to be on the bench.
I heard the rumor. I was going to bring this up. I totally forgot about that. I heard that Dupont didn't want him as 10.
Why would? Oh. And so it's a bit like Dupont is the big daddy. He gets to decide, and that's why he was pissed off.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that there was some. That's what I heard.
Right.
And I heard this. I can't remember where I heard it. I read it or I heard it on a podcast. Someone say something about this.
Yeah.
Right. And then on Saturday when Jolly Bear wasn't on the team and it was Ramos starting at 10, I was like, well, there must be something to this. Yeah. But I didn't hear that side of it.
Oh, that's what I heard. I didn't hear the thing you just said, though.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was DuPont being a little princess about it.
Yeah. It's like, no, please, just not the good old Jolly Bear.
The fucking exiled Jolly Bear.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, I do whatever DuPont wants. He could be like, we're going to go to England, kidnap Faye Waboso and play him at prop. And I'd be like, fine, do it. Let's get it done.
Yeah, you're going to listen to anything he says.
Yes, like every time.
He's the king of that team.
He is. Yeah. He's proved it, though.
Yeah, you're not going to...
He's not just a good rugby player, he's an intelligent rugby player.
You want to keep him happy.
Of course you do.
I thought the pair looked great.
Yeah, and it's weird because Ramos isn't always the best defensively, and he's not a natural 10 like...
No, but he is
is.
What are those things called with a bunch of tools in it?
Swiss Army knife.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm having a stroke. Yeah, he is kind of a Swiss Army knife.
He is a Swiss Army knife,
because he looked fine. He looked natural in there.
Yeah, he can do it all. I mean, when you're playing behind a pack that size, it's not that hard, is it? I mean, it is, but, not
Back
too much
to,
pressure on him.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
How do you think the media's doing?
Like I said, I think they deserve and should have high standards, and they should expect to be every team, every time, but they just don't seem to be handling the losses well. Which again is the same. It's a double-edged sword, right? You have the highest standards of any team in the world, good, but when you lose, you fucking lose your mind. You'll be fine. You're still going to be the best team in the world or thereabouts for the rest of history until the fucking sun explodes. People will be annoyed at how often New Zealand win games of rugby.
Yeah, in my eyes, I think they're the guys on the outside. They need to get in the game more.
Oh yeah, and that's the smothering thing. I think it was hard for them to get phases together because there was a really aggressive defense, right? It shut them down, so they couldn't get their kind of.
What's their defense coach? France's defense coach?
Sean Edwards.
Sean Edwards.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder how much they're paying him.
Not enough. Or probably actually.
They're probably paying him fuck time. What are you talking about?
Yeah, true.
Because he would be gone somewhere else. I bet you anyone in the world wants him.
Yeah, I mean he's a Wigan boy like Andy Farrell. He has not been near the England national setup because he came to Wales in like 2008, so long time.
What a guy to get through the cracks.
Yeah.
To go through the cracks.
Yeah.
I bet the English is like fuck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean but the thing is he was with Gatland when Gatland was at Wasp, so he was Gatland's kind of understudy for a long time, right? So I think he was just loyal to the guys who were loyal to him rather than caring about national.
That's what Gatland needs. They need him back.
Who do?
Wales.
Wales need Gatland back?
No, that's what Gatland. He needs to call his little apprentice back.
Would you go?
Sean Edwards.
Why would you go? Jay, do you want to come hang out in this burning trash can? No, I'm okay. France is nice.
Well, speaking of burning trash cans.
Yeah. Italy, Georgia. I'm joking. Fuck's sake.
I totally forgot this game was on.
That's such an Italy-Georgia move of you.
Yeah. When you mentioned that, I was like, oh, fuck, I completely missed that game.
Hey, Georgia nearly won it. They had him. And Italy just
won't let any tier 2 nation come out.
They're the gatekeepers.
Yeah, they will lose to everyone else.
Yeah.
But as soon as a tier 2 nation comes around, like just trying to get their spot, they will go all out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, no, we worked hard. We lost so many games to get here.
You
are not having our spot.
I really wanted Georgia to win that game too.
Yeah.
Because that would have been perfect.
It would have.
Because they would have gave a lot of talking points. Like, what are Italy even doing?
People start pretending
the
Six Nations is a relegation tournament again. But
let's not talk about that game. Let's talk about the game that everyone wants to talk about. Let's talk about the game that you wanted to talk about. Your boys.
Yeah.
Wales.
Yeah.
Versus Australia.
Yeah.
52-20 for Australia. It's the most points that Australia's ever put in Cardiff.
Yeah, it is. This has new low vibes. It's not just rock bottom. It's like
almost like every other week we're having
it's like when a drug addict fucking goes back on the drugs for the 9th time. It's like he's dead now. He's dead.
You want to say this is the final straw?
I would love for it to be the final straw.
But next week when they play the Springboks,
I don't want more straws.
And they get fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, is that going to be the final straw?
I don't think so. Here's the thing, right? It's such a hard place to be criticizing Gatland because he took us to the best. We were the best team in the world. We were number one.
Don't they have like a bench or something named after
a gate? When we go to Cardiff next year, I'm going to show you Gatland's gate. It's a big fucking gate.
I want to see Gatland's gate.
And are they going to have to downgrade it to like a turnstile soon? Because he's in real danger now of like tarnishing his legacy. I know he said he doesn't care, but this is this is it. This is a record losing streak for us. He's done it. So he's overseen taking us to number 1 spot in the world, going on our longest ever unbeaten run, and then Gatland the sequel, Gatland 2 Judgment Day, is just not good. It's a shitty second movie.
So there's been a lot of talk about. We should talk about the game, but let's talk about the game first, and then we'll get into the coaching stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you a question first, right?
Okay.
If Joe Schmidt went to Wales instead of Gatland, would we be having this conversation?
If Joe Schmidt went to Wales.
If Joe Schmidt took over from Wayne Pivac after the Jam Slam.
Oh, can you ask that question when we talk about the coaching?
Sure.
Yeah,
we
because
come back to it.
you remember that question because I'm going to answer that question. Write it down. Write it down on a piece of paper.
Joe Schmidt.
If he took over Wales.
Fucking spell Schmidt.
Because I want to talk about this, and I think we're going to talk about it for a little bit.
Okay.
So, but I want to get your thoughts on this game. Your face. I wish people could see this face. Yeah. I can't wait till we start recording the podcast, like video wise. So
I'm wearing a fucking paper bag every time Wales play. I don't know what. It's hard. Like I am a bit speechless because, like I said, it does. A lot of it comes to the coaching. I tell you what. I was looking at the number of caps we have. I think we're the youngest quote unquote tier 1 side in the world right now.
Yeah.
By significantly as well, right? So that you give him some leeway. Mm-hmm. But part of the reason with that is because he can't fucking settle on a team. If you played the same guys, we have 2 of our best props playing for Harlequins right now. Dylan Lewis, Wyn Jones, they're playing good. And he won't even play Nicky Smith, who's probably the best scrummager in a Welsh jersey. Not ever, but in the current bunch of scrummagers we have. Nicky Smith came on, showed that he's the best. Ryan Elias, like people were saying, when you can't score if your maul isn't functioning. Our maul wasn't functioning in the second half because we couldn't win our own lineouts because of Ryan Elias, right? So his selection is it's worse than Borthwick's. It's objectively worse than Borthwick's. Borthwick's.
So do you think there's another team, a Welsh team, out in the wilderness?
There is, and the thing is, it's not like here's one team. Here's an entirely different 15 guys who are just exiled from Wales, right? You mix and match, and that's what every fucking sensible coach does. And it's easy to blame Gatland, and I will. But the WRU have massive culpability in this. Why do we have a 25 cap rule? Why the fuck do we have that? We can't afford to keep our players in our country. So we're saying to these young professional athletes, you have to stay here, otherwise you don't get to play for Wales. And if you do stay here, we'll pay you 20p an hour.
Yeah.
Like that's not much of it. And that
doesn't
honestly
sound great.
That's exactly what happened with Faye Waboso. We lost a once in a generational talent because we can't get our shit together.
That's almost unforgivable.
It is unforgivable. And I know I like to joke about taking the piss at the guy. I don't blame him. Why would you fucking stay? Doesn't make any sense. Louis Rees-Zammit goes off to the NFL, which I think he would have done anyway, but it probably would have made him think a bit more if we were picking the best guys for the team, So Sam Costa, and I feel bad for guys like, I don't know if you remember Rhys Carey. He was like a big Cardiff prop and he carried hard and he was awesome. He wasn't very fit enough, and Gatland publicly said, I'm dropping you because you're not fit enough. That is totally the wrong way to deal with a young, inexperienced player. You have a quiet word with him. Say, I'm not picking you. You need to work on your fitness. Come back. He publicly stated that. And same with Sam Costa now. He keeps picking him at the wrong times, Gareth Anscombe is made of porcelain.
Yeah, he is.
Fucking hell, little China doll. Isn't that what you said?
I feel like the team is a mixture. I feel like the Welsh team is a mixture of people that want to be there.
Yeah.
That want to put the jersey on.
Yeah.
And people that are paid to be there.
Yeah. We have a bit of a mercenary feel. Not as bad as Scotland, but at least the Scottish mercenaries want to be there.
Yeah.
Our mercenaries...
Even, they're not even necessarily foreigners. They're
just playing in England.
They're just guys like, hey, can you please come and play? Or yeah, okay, I'll do this.
It does feel like jury duty, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's like you're playing for Gloucester, you're having the best time, and so you get a letter from Gatland, hey, you've been summoned to play for Wales. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Because that's what it feels like. It feels like there's just a disconnect. Like there's some players it's Aaron Wainwright.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be on that team.
Yeah.
They can lose 1,000 games and he's going to put that shirt on and he's going to go out there 110% every time.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's guys like Gareth Anscombe.
Yeah.
They're not going to put it all on the line.
No, why would you? You're in your 30s. You're doing it for I don't want to say doing it for paycheck. I do think they care, but they don't care. There's a guy at the Ospreys, Dan Edwards. He's amazing. And we haven't even put him in the training panelists.
He's not even in the training panelists.
There's guys at the Ospreys who aren't even in the training panelists. And there's rock stars.
I heard someone mention that there's because they were talking
There's
about
Morgan Morse, both excellent, like genuinely excellent back rowers, right? And you've got Dan Edwards, who's genuinely slotted a drop goal in the pissing rain against the Stormers to win the game. He's a fucking rock star, you
so
know?
Gatlin's kind of lost the plot.
And I think the worst thing about it is he doesn't take any responsibility. He's gaslighting the media now. So the media are like, are you gonna resign? And he's like, well, that's you saying that, not me. And it's like, no, they're asking you a fair question. You've lost 11 fucking games for the Welsh national team. We're not Canada, okay? We used to win fucking games, right?
He said something in the last media breakdown that he had, because they asked him straight up, "Are you worried?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I want to do what's best for Wales."
Then resign.
But then he said something like, "If that means bringing in something to like bring up the morale of the group of the team, I'm on board with that." But when he said that, I was like, oh, man, it must be pretty dark in that camp.
It must be pretty dark. But here's the thing. He's paid 600,000-ish a year to win games of rugby. At the end of the day, you're not doing your job. It's not rocket science. And the thing is, he has to resign so that we don't pay him out. If we fire him, he has to get a payout. So he sat there like a bad smell, waiting for someone to go, yeah, we have to fire you. Here's your couple million to pay out your contract. So for me, it's selfish. You know, this isn't just a rugby team. This is our fucking national pride. We don't lose 11 games except in the 90s once, you know? Like, so it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing,
So
right?
do you think if Joe Schmidt was chosen instead of Gatlin, do you think it would be a different team?
Yes. I'm not saying we'd be fucking world beaters. And I'm not, even if we were at this stage where we're 11-game losing streak, I can at least see Joe Schmidt going, it's time for me to fall on my sword. I haven't done the job I was hired to do.
Because I don't think so.
Why?
I feel like no matter what coach is going to come in, I think that the players just aren't there.
But I think they're not there because they're fed up with him. I think they just don't see it, you know?
And he's not picking them.
And he's not picking the right guys. Like that guy Sam Parry, yeah, it was a temper tantrum for like if I'm not in the squad, I'm not playing. But it just gives you a sense of if you're not dying to pull on that jersey, which people used to be, like you're not doing it right, you know?
And you think he's part of the cause of that?
And I think the WRU are probably slightly more responsible than he is.
Yeah, they kind of. I think the worst thing about this is that, the WRU's kind of hurt the culture of the team.
They've hurt the culture of our country.
That's hard to like.
They have. I'm not exaggerating though. I'm not exaggerating. Like
that's hard to gain back.
It is.
Like when you have when you start having players coming in and they're not dying to put the shirt on, to put that
fuck off,
to put the jersey on.
Yeah.
When you destroy that kind of culture, that's really hard to get back.
It is hard to get back. And I'm no doubt, give it 20 years, we'll be fine. But it will take...
And that's what I feel like. I feel like when I'm watching this game, I feel like there's two groups on the field. There's a group that wants to be there no matter what and will die to be there.
Yeah.
And a group that's just, happy to get a paycheck.
Playing in England. They're at the end of their career.
Yeah.
They'll show up and give you an experience 10 or something. Like someone like Will Rowlands. Like he hasn't been in the squad that long. He had a bit of a bad game.
I seriously, I don't think Gareth Anscombe is thinking about, oh man, I really want to win a World Cup.
No.
I want to go to the World Cup.
And I'm sure
it's my dream to go to the World Cup.
He's an intelligent guy, right? I'm sure he sat there thinking, I need to help this team. Like I've got a lot of experience. They want me to do a job. Like I'm not slagging the guy, but it makes him look bad. It's embarrassing for him that we're not picking, and we have a bit of a 10 crisis, to be fair. Like we're used to just having a fucking conveyor belt of 10s, and that isn't the case. Like Callum Sheedy was a bit of a miss. Sam Costello, Johan Lloyd, bit of misses. In
this game too, I thought that Cam Winnick got pretty exposed.
And to be fair,
I think his height actually came into a factor because he just couldn't compete with those high balls.
No, he couldn't.
And they were taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he's really good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's a really good rugby player.
Yeah.
But competing in those high balls, which is, usually a fullback thing, he was just outmatched.
And I think, but that's the thing, that's the worst game I've seen him play. He has been nothing but excellent, like consistent, high standard since, do you know how many games of rugby he's won in his life at a professional level? I think it's 7. I think that's right. I think I read that. 7 games.
Who does he play for?
Cardiff.
He's won like 7.
Cardiff won 4 games of rugby last season. And Wales have not won in 11 games. Do the math.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Do the maths. Yeah. So, like, you can forgive him for having a bit of a bad game, considering he's been nothing but solid for months.
I feel like they need someone else in there.
There's no one else. There's no one else.
How is Gatlin supposed to do a better job? There's no one else.
Because if he'd have blooded the right people 6 months ago, there would be other people, right? There would be other guys. Johan Lloyd is a good fullback. He kept trying to play him at 10. That was a mistake. He could have brought Dan Edwards in from the Ospreys when he started playing well. And I've heard this is more rumours, but Gatland is not even attending enough regional games. Like, he gets an Excel spreadsheet and goes, oh yeah, his stats look good, get him in, right? Like, if you're not even part of the culture, the way you are paid $500,000 a year. Like, your job is to win games of rugby. If you don't do it, fucking resign.
This is a question I want to ask. Australia.
Oh, so we should talk about that was totally unclassy of me. Like, fair fucks to them. They're class.
Okay.
Yeah.
They look really good.
Yeah.
If they play Argentina tomorrow, who wins that game?
Well, they beat each other once each in the rugby championship.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
If they play the Springboks tomorrow, who wins?
Springboks.
They play the All Blacks tomorrow, who wins?
All Blacks. Depends where. It's closer.
I don't know. I kind of feel that this new form of Australia, they look better. They do look a lot better.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's because they've gotten so much better or the form of the teams that they're playing is lacking.
And that's a good point, right? Because look at the teams they've beaten in the last 6 months. It's Wales 3 times and Argentina once.
Yeah. So I'm kind of feeling like it's they beat England, who's just struggling to like close out games.
Yeah.
And they beat Wales.
Yeah. They didn't beat Argentina? Who are you talking about?
Australia.
Argentina. They didn't beat England.
Australia played England like last week.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about. I've confused myself. You are right. You are right. Australia beat England, Wales, and Argentina.
So I don't know if this is like a new. I kind of have a hard time believing that this is like a team that's turning.
I see a point.
It's turning a new leaf. Like,
yeah.
Are they really as good as we think they are? Because we always. I knew a couple things. Their attack is incredible.
Yeah.
Right?
Still is.
They have a really good attack. Their defense is shocking. Right. This game looked better, but also Wales.
Like, we didn't fire a shot, did we?
Can't fire a shot.
Yeah, couldn't even get a maul going. Yeah.
So if I was a Wallaby fan, I wouldn't be too hyped up because of the competition.
If anyone deserves a moment of delusional positivity, though, it's them.
It is them.
And if we beat fucking Georgia 3 times in a row, I would be fucking having a party because we need it. You need to belief and confidence are just as important as ability, right? And you're right. The problem is though, they're 2 injuries away from never beating anyone for a fucking calendar year, right? Like, you lose Valentini, you lose Angus Bell, class players, but like, who's replacing them, right? Who's replacing them?
Yeah. So that's my only thing when I was watching the game. I was like, is Australia, are they getting good, or are they?
They are getting good. They're just not as good as we think, right?
Or I could be wrong.
Next week we'll find out. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to that.
Yeah.
But back to the coaching. Who do you think? Do you think someone's going to lose their job after this?
If he doesn't resign after the inevitable demolition by South Africa, I think there's something deeply wrong in the WIU, and I'll have lost respect for him. You need to fall in a sword, right? Because how could you stay in a job? You're the head coach.
You're the cunt.
You're the cunt. He's not a cunt, but he's the head coach of a country who. That's our culture.
What a sad. It would be if he leaves after this. It would be such a sad ending for him.
And it would. He's already tarnished that, right?
Because it's this whole run that he's had, this second run after the World Cup, has been so bad.
It's a bad movie sequel.
And he's been such a Welsh hero.
He has. He's got a gate.
He's got a gate.
What other national coaches have a gate?
He has a gate.
Yeah.
So for him to walk out,
it's sad
with a whimper.
Yeah, but that's professional sports, right?
That is professional sports. Actually, I got to think about that. No one goes out. Rarely do you go out a winner.
But that's the problem with Wales. The line between this and professional sports and this means so fucking much to us is blurry because we made a fucking... Who else makes a gate for a coach? Psycho Welsh people who love rugby that much. Do you know what I mean? But that's why it's also such a sad thing because you can't lose that many games and keep going. Your job is to win games of rugby, you know? This isn't an experiment, you know?
It's true.
So...
Yeah, if I was that bad at that, my job, they would just get rid of me.
Of course they would. Right? If I showed up my job every day and was shit, sorry, it's nothing personal. We'll have to take the gate down, but yeah, you're fired.
He does. He is limited. I do have to give him credit. He is working with a very limited stock.
I would give him a lot more credit if he took any responsibility, though.
He's taking he's picking the majority of his players from he's locked into a majority of players that come from basically losing clubs.
That's not true. He could pick Dylan Lewis and Wyn Jones from Harlequins. They're both over 25 caps comfortably. They could pick 3 Ospreys players that I've just named.
Why isn't he picking those 2?
That's the question. A bad selection policy. I think probably some on the WRUs, you need to pick Welsh players as much as possible. But then, why is he not picking some of the guys at the Ospreys, who are one of the better Welsh regions, right? It doesn't make sense. So I think, and I've heard this rumour, I don't know if it's true, but he's just not going to enough games. He doesn't understand the game in Wales as well as he used to.
Borthwick seems pretty confident too.
I know, and they're both similar, and they'll sit there, and it's like nothing happened, right?
I think it's worse for him.
It's worse because he comes into these interviews smiling and be like, hey, there was some positives today. There was positives? The fuck were you watching? And he's like, and then they'll ask him, like, you're going to resign? He's like, well, you're the one driving that narrative. It's like, no, it's a fair fucking question, you know?
Especially with his crop.
Yeah.
With his crop of players.
Yeah.
With his resources, I think it's looking worse on Borthwick than it does Gatlin.
It will always do.
You can make arguments that Gatlin does have, like, his toolbox is limited.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But Borthwick's got, like, the whole world at his fingertips.
Yeah.
And he's still not producing.
No, he's not. At least those games were entertaining and close, but you wouldn't forgive him if you were an England fan, would you?
No.
And I think, like...
And your standards should be really high.
Yeah. And I could make some excuses, but Dan Biggar and Sam Warburton were doing the punditry, and they said it pretty well. Like, the truth is, we just don't have the players to be competitive with top tier teams right now. Like, we can't compete with Ireland, France, New Zealand, South Africa. We can't, right? That's the truth. We don't have as good a players we used to. And I think if you mixed it up a bit, we'd have a slightly better team, but still not good enough. And another thing is, like, if that's true, why during the autumn internationals do we arrange to play the best fucking teams? Why don't we do a Scotland and play a bunch of Portugals and just feel good for a year?
Because they need the money.
We'd sell out Portugal, Wales.
No, you're not. I don't even think it almost looked like they didn't sell out.
Well, now we won't. Now it's too late. Now everyone's given up
I was
hope.
pretty sure that stadium wasn't sold out.
No, it wasn't. And that's the first time that's happened in a long time.
Yeah.
So that's scary. But, if you'd have done this, if you'd have booked this 6 months ago, every pissed person would be like, let's go smash Portugal.
I wonder how you feel being a Welsh fan with a ticket to South Africa, Wales. Knowing you're walking into a slaughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be a shitty feeling.
I can't imagine many of the players being motivated for that game.
Because the Welsh, they love rugby.
Yeah.
Those fans die hard.
Yeah.
And they're basically walking into like a funeral.
We're withdrawing our singing like women withdraw sex.
This is
now.
the first
We're
time.
Not giving it to anyone.
Yeah, where 2 tier 1 nations like go up to compete each other, and you're just like 100 for sure. This is going to be a blowout.
There's never been. Yeah. It's not going to be close.
Like if Scotland played, like Scotland was going to lose to South Africa, but you knew there was going to be a game there.
Yeah.
Right? Like they were going to come and play, and they did.
They did.
But this one is going to be fucking.
From second one, it's going to be miserable.
Just a fucking. Oh my god! I can't wait to watch this.
Okay.
Because we have to watch it together.
No, not a chance. Am I watching this with you?
I can't do it. I'm just
I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna like block your number for about 2 hours.
Well, let's just do a little quick thing for next weekend. Next Friday we have France, Argentina.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah, 2 very unpredictable
good.
teams.
But I'm gonna call France.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like they're gonna keep it together longer.
Bigger depth.
I think Argentina will probably make some. I think this game is gonna be lost via discipline, and Argentina's gonna get the worst of it.
I think they'll get out-muscled, they'll get frustrated, and someone will elbow a French guy in the head.
I don't think they'll get out-muscled.
But red cards don't mean anything anymore. They're not relevant.
Yeah. Argentina's got a tough team, too.
But they'll just be silly and punch someone.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, we have... Oh, there it is. Ireland, Fiji.
You were talking up Fiji, and I think it'll be closer than it's historically been. I can't see Ireland
100%.
losing this, though.
I can't see Ireland losing this either. If Farrell does, fuck around with the squad, which I think he should do.
Yeah.
They could lose this game.
But
if he puts out a full strength, they'll win this game.
Yeah.
But it could be close, and it could be frightening. And
I want it to be close. Like, aren't you happy that Fiji are dining at the big boys table?
100%.
They had our chair. They've got our chair.
They deserve to be here. They deserve to be in the rugby championship.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah. And then we have Wales, South Africa. Who do you think's going to win this game?
It'll be a draw. Calling a draw.
Imagine if Wales won.
I'm going to be 0-0.
If Wales won,
yeah.
How much shit would you lose?
I'm in minus hope right now, so I just go back to normal. I'd be like, oh, that's good.
You wouldn't know how to mentally.
No, I
handle it.
wouldn't be able to cope. I'd be like, you just filled up my empty well
Your
a bit.
brain would just fry.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Everything's great. Oh, what a great game.
You know, there's like a house plant that's like on the verge of death. It's like a yellow brown twig, and you give it like a few drops of water, and it just like perks up slightly. That'd be me. I'd be like, oh, maybe. Yeah, that's not going to happen though.
Oh, and another one, Italy, New Zealand. Oh, this is gonna be another slaughter.
Yeah, actually,
Two slaughters.
talking about predictions, yeah, Italy they've never shown me that they can beat a big team.
And then on Sunday we got Scotland, Australia.
That'd
This
be
is gonna be a good game.
Oh, that might be the game of the weekend.
Yeah, I think Scotland's gonna win this game.
I think Scotland will win that. I think this is a litmus test for how good Australia really are.
This is really going to show them. If they win this game, then they have.
Yeah.
In my eyes, they've stepped up a level here.
And they must be feeling confident as well.
Yes, they got two. Well, you got Scotland. They're going to be hungry for a win.
Yeah.
Against a tier 1 nation,
Yeah.
and there's a lot. Both proving ground games. This is gonna be a great game.
Yeah.
I can't. This is a game of the weekend for
They
me.
both got lethal backs as well.
Yeah.
Lethal backs.
Oh,
like,
it's gonna be a. Oh,
yeah, juicy.
Man.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then we have England, Japan.
Yeah, whatever.
Eddie Jones will be grimacing up in the box.
It's not even rugby, man.
I think England beat them like 50-10. 50 to 15 or something like that. Maybe like Japan will score a few tries actually.
This is going to be a good old-fashioned bully beatdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it.
All right, friends. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com. Ask us some questions.
Are we on Blue Sky?
No, what the fuck is Blue Sky?
It's like a thing people are doing to protest that they don't want to be on Twitter anymore.
Oh, really? What? It's such a long name.
It's weird, isn't it?
Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Sounds like a dating app.
Sounds like a meditation
Well, you
app.
can find us on the dating app Blue Sky.
Yeah. Come meditate with me.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one, friends.
All right.